SpaceX has run into a massive roadblock as the FAA has announced a hefty penalty and an indefinite hold on operations of the company. The FAA has previously advised SpaceX to employ a more environmentally friendly testing approach, and now the agency intends to force its hand. Let's take a closer look and see how this will impact SpaceX. Starship and Superheavy are the biggest, most important pieces of Elon Musk's grand plan for SpaceX. Musk has repeatedly stressed that he founded SpaceX back in 2002 primarily to help humanity colonize Mars. SpaceX is now actively trying to turn this sci-fi dream into reality. The company is developing a 100-passenger spaceship called Starship and a giant rocket known as Superheavy, which together constitute the transportation system that Musk thinks will bring Mars settlements within reach at long last. The Starship is powered by a cluster of Raptor engines, which are some of the most powerful engines ever built. The engines use a combination of liquid methane and liquid oxygen as the propellant, which provides a high-performance and reliable source of propulsion. The use of liquid methane also makes the engines environmentally friendly, reducing the carbon footprint of space travel. With the development of the Starship, SpaceX has opened up a new world of possibilities for space travel. The Starship has the potential to make deep space missions more accessible and affordable, paving the way for the colonization of other planets. The future of space travel is bright, and the Starship is at the forefront of this new era. With its powerful engines, efficient fuel system, and revolutionary landing system, the Starship is set to revolutionize the way we explore the final frontier. Whether it's a mission to the moon, Mars, or beyond, the Starship is ready to take us there. But before it can do any of those things, the Starship must first seek clearance to be space-worthy from the FAA. Various prototypes of the vehicle have conducted static fire tests over the years, yielding a ton of data that has made improvements to the craft's design. In one instance, SpaceX fired up the engines of its latest Starship prototype in a dramatic test that also set some of the surrounding landscape ablaze. All 6 of the Raptor engines on the vehicle blazed briefly at Starbase, the company's South Texas facility. The static fire test marked another step toward launch for the Starship, which is slated to conduct the program's first ever orbital test flight in the coming months. The static fire lasted just a few seconds, but flames burned at Starbase for a while afterward. The test sparked a grass fire that brought the local fire department out as a safety precaution. Regulation remains the big uncertainty as Starship awaits its chance to make an orbital flight test. If all goes according to plan, the spaceship will make a round-the-world trip to splash down off the coast of Hawaii after 90 minutes, while the first stage of the Superheavy rocket should return to Earth 6 minutes after launch in the Gulf of Mexico. However, the FAA has undertaken an environmental assessment of the Starship's mission, which delayed SpaceX's plans to attempt the flight. Even after the assessment is finished, there could be more certifications to consider. SpaceX's desire to fly an orbital mission with Starship prompted a lengthy environmental review by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, and there are still several things to finish up. That FAA review, called a Programmatic Environmental Assessment, examined Starship activities at Starbase. The FAA concluded the assessment in June, following numerous delays from late 2021 due to the need to consult with other agencies and deal with public comments. The FAA said that SpaceX needs to take 75 actions to reduce its environmental impact on the area. Despite SpaceX founder Elon Musk saying several times that Starship would be ready to go orbital soon, Musk recently said the target was November. It seems that SpaceX hasn't quite finished with those FAA action items, which could land the company in hot water with the authorities. It seems like the FAA has finally run out of patience with SpaceX and announced a hefty fine against the company. SpaceX is looking at a proposed fine of $175,000 from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration after the launch company failed to submit the necessary info about a spacecraft's trajectory and potential collision analysis data within the requisite period. The FAA said it requires SpaceX to provide that data at least a week before a launch occurs. The launch in question was specifically a flight of 53 of SpaceX's own Starlink internet satellites loaded onto a Falcon 9 rocket, which took took off on August 19, 2022 from Cape Canaveral in Florida. The dollar amount of the fine is shy of the max civil penalty for this kind of infraction, which tops out at $262,666. The lower amount sought by the agency is due to what it determined was the nature of the incident after investigating the specifics. SpaceX now has 30 days to respond to the notice, which is the next step in the process once a proposed fine has been issued and the max possible penalty has been set. Note that at this stage, SpaceX technically doesn't owe the FAA anything. That comes after SpaceX makes its case and the FAA evaluates its fine proposal in light of any info they share and determines a final actual fine to issue. The Starship is expected to form the financial backbone for SpaceX over the coming decades. The craft is expected to play a major role in space tourism in the future. The Starship has the ability to carry up to 100 passengers to the Moon, Mars, and beyond, giving people the opportunity to experience space travel in a whole new way. With its comfortable cabin and advanced life support systems, the Starship is the perfect vehicle for space tourism. And with its powerful engines and efficient fuel system, it can carry out long-duration missions with minimal interruption. Space tourism is a relatively new concept and has only become possible in recent years due to advancements in technology. In the past, only astronauts and professional space travelers had the opportunity to experience the thrill of space travel. But now, with companies like SpaceX offering private missions to space, the dream of space travel is becoming a reality for more and more people. Space tourism offers many benefits both for the individual traveler and for society as a whole. For the individual, it offers the chance to experience a once-in-a-lifetime adventure and the opportunity to see our planet from a completely new perspective. For society, it provides a new source of revenue and jobs and helps to advance the field of space exploration. While space tourism is expected to be a big part of the Starship's future, the craft is needed for several groundbreaking scientific missions. After a successful splashdown of the Orion spacecraft in the Pacific Ocean, NASA Administrator and former Senator Bill Nelson shared that his agency plans to go to Mars by the end of 2030. Senator Nelson struck an upbeat tone after NASA had a great Artemis 1 mission, and the remarks were made during a post-splashdown press conference in which he also shared details for SpaceX's Starship lunar lander. The event was attended by several agency officials, including Michael Serafin, NASA's Artemis 1 mission manager, who shared his final thoughts on Orion's performance as it entered the Earth at breakneck speeds for a successful landing. Throughout its journey to the Moon and back, Orion performed better than NASA engineers had initially expected. The spacecraft's power generation, done through solar panels, generated more power than expected. As part of the mission, NASA added additional test objectives to stress the vehicle and learn more about its performance for future missions. The next Artemis mission will involve a crew, and not only will NASA use the data for the next mission, but it will also make changes to the ship. Administrator Nelson also shared crucial details about SpaceX's Starship lunar lander. This is currently the only vehicle that has been chosen by NASA to land humans on the Moon as part of the Artemis program. He announced that SpaceX plans to do an uncrewed landing in 2023 and then to do the crewed landing in late 2024. While delays are possible due to the Starship being a brand new concept, all signs point towards the craft being ready in time. Starship is the centerpiece of Musk's eventual plans to head to Mars. Although SpaceX makes its money from launch services, the company is also focused on developing technology for future space exploration. In 2011, Elon Musk told delegates at the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics in San Diego that he planned to take people to Mars in 10 to 15 years. 3 years later, at the International Space Development Conference, he said the reusable rocket stage would be a step in getting to the Red Planet. In 2016, Musk unveiled his technological plan for Martian transport, which is a part of his plan to create a self-sustaining red planet colony in the next 50 to 100 years. The Starship is not the only craft at SpaceX that could be affected by these fines and potential hold. The company could be restricted from making upgrades to the Falcon Heavy rocket in addition to the Starship. The rocket has already made history by launching and landing as the first reusable rocket, but SpaceX is always looking for ways to improve and innovate. One major focus of the upgrade is increasing the rocket's payload capacity, allowing it to transport more cargo or humans into space at a time. Another area of improvement is in the rocket's propulsion system. SpaceX is experimenting with using advanced engines and fuels, such as methane and oxygen, to increase the rocket's power and efficiency. The upgraded rocket will also feature a sleek new design with a streamlined shape and advanced heat shielding to withstand the intense temperatures of re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. In addition to these technical improvements, SpaceX is also working on making the rocket more cost-effective to produce and operate. The company has a strong focus on sustainability and is exploring ways to reuse as many parts of the rocket as possible to reduce waste and lower costs. The upgraded rocket is expected to have a longer lifespan and be able to fly more missions before needing major maintenance or repairs. These improvements will not only benefit SpaceX, but also the wider space industry and humanity. With a more powerful and efficient rocket, SpaceX will be able to access new destinations in space, potentially opening the possibility of establishing a permanent human presence on other planets. One of the key benefits of the upgraded rocket is its increased payload capacity, which will allow it to transport more cargo or humans into space at a time. This will be particularly useful for missions to the International Space Station, where the ability to deliver more supplies or crew members in a single launch will greatly improve efficiency and reduce costs. The upgraded rocket will also have the capability to fly a wider range of missions, from satellite launches and cargo deliveries to human spaceflight and interplanetary travel. This versatility will make it a valuable asset for a variety of customers, including government agencies and private companies. In addition to its technical advancements, the upgraded rocket will also feature new safety features to ensure the safety of the crew and cargo on board. This includes upgraded systems for communication, navigation, and emergency response, as well as improved reliability and redundancy to reduce the risk of failure. Only time will tell if the FAA upholds its stance on testing by SpaceX, or if the company and the agency can come to an agreement. If you like this video, you may also enjoy this one, which talks about the latest upgrades to the Starship that will change everything. Do you think the FAA will uphold its fines on SpaceX? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below.